When paternity court gets chaotic.
You
We're
think
going to
this
be there. We're
doesn't
going to be
tear me
friends.
apart? Do you really think it doesn't?
I know it does.
Do you think I want my daughter not to know who her father is?
No, I don't believe that.
Oh, hey,
Okay, sit down, Mr. Brown. Your name rhymes with clown, but you're not gonna clown today. Just calm down.
Miss Johnson and Miss Davis step into chaos. They've arrived in court to unearth the truth about their biological father. Sadly, the whole court part kicked in when a person showed up claiming he was the father at their mother's funerals. Yeah, I know that's the last thing you want to hear on such occasions. Anyway, this made the family book a trip to paternity court.
The funeral, when I had walked in, this guy had walked in behind me and put his hands around me and asked me, how is my beautiful little girl doing? Well, here at this time, I had thought that the defendant, Roger Johnson, was my biological father. And at the time, I did not know who was behind me.
Miss Davis has unveiled a trail of cryptic hints and hidden truths. The courtroom resonates with intrigue as puzzle pieces from her childhood slowly click into place, suggesting a fatherly figure she never anticipated. All of this had truly taken a toll on the dynamics of the family.
My mother used to take me to places like this car lot, and this guy used to work there, and she had me up in the front of the seat with her in the car, and then she looked at the guy and told him, now me being young, I didn't really understand then, but once I got older, I started putting the puzzles together that could have possibly been one of the guys.
Mr. Johnson was the guy who had put a lot of alleged fathers to shame by stepping up to be both mom and dad. Even his own daughters testified to their father being there for them 24/7.
Oh, I understand. You're saying when you had the girls, you wanted the girls to see her so they could have a mother-daughter
Yes, Your Honor.
connection.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so you would have to say to her, I'll give you money
Yes, Your Honor.
if you spend time with them.
Yes, Your Honor.
Up next, it was time to call in the firstborn son as the witness to the whole saga, while the young man was clearly shaken over the painful dilemma their family had to go through. Roger Jr.'s sisters and father are close to him, and he talks about the hurt he felt because he's not as close to his father as his sisters are. Can feel the heavy feelings in the room, reminding us that being a father isn't just about biology, but also about the feelings that make us who we are.
There's a lot of doubts. My middle sister, I can see my father.
That's Miss Johnson.
Yes, ma'am. I love her to pieces.
It's okay, sweetie. You don't see your father.
No, ma'am.
And that hurts you to have to say. I can see that. And I can imagine for all three of you, it's difficult when one family member seems to be singled out or...
Further, Miss Davis opens up to her father about her hurtful reactions, saying that she is so sorry for what she did. Her father responds with understanding and forgiveness, saying that he will always be there for her regardless of biology. Their bond shines as he highlights his love for his grandchildren too.
I have denied him as my father. I have done a lot of hurtful things to him, and I admit I have. I'm not perfect. All I ask for is forgiveness. I don't want to do this anymore.
I forgive her, but you know, the main important thing here is what they gotta understand. I have 7 grandchildren. 2 of my grandchildren is with her.
In the Johnson-Davis vs. Johnson case, the court has reached conclusions about the paternity of Roger Johnson Jr., Elizabeth Johnson, and Melinda Davis. Will the envelope unite this family or further set it apart?
As it pertains to the paternity of Elizabeth Johnson, Mr. Johnson Sr., you are her father. As it pertains to the paternity of Melinda Davis, Mr. Johnson Sr., you are her father.
Miss Strong steps forward, bringing her claims against the defendant, Miss McClain, in a high-stakes paternity showdown. The court is a battlefield of accusations as Miss Strong alleges her husband is not the father of Miss McClain's child. With Miss McClain standing her ground, the stage is set for a riveting tale of passion, betrayal, and unexpected consequences.
Your Honor, a little over a year ago, me and Miss McClain got together. We were friends. We had discussed doing a threesome.
You and
He
Ms.
got his
McClain
system.
got together to talk about this?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
So we went back to our apartment and discussed it with Mr. Strong, and it happened. We had some drinks, the music was playing, had a threesome, had a good time that night.
The courtroom crackles with tension as Judge Lake grapples to unravel the complexities of this paternity dispute. With each side fiercely defending their perspective, the debate heats up, delving into genetics, race, and the intricacies of parenthood. The audience is left on the edge of their seats, eager to see how this puzzle unfolds.
What am I missing?
The other possibilities are African American men.
But to be honest with you, a white person and a black person can still have a white baby.
But Miss McClain, you DNA tested the African American man you were dating, and it was determined that he was not Angel's biological father, right?
Correct.
Mr. and Miss Strong describe their deep involvement in Angel's life. The courtroom's mood shifts as their dedication to her become evident, from buying essentials within hours to being called sister by her siblings.
The day they brought the kid to my work and we started hanging out, I did go out and buy a bassinet and some other baby stuff. Like she has clothes, food, toys, pretty much anything you can think of. I mean, I got it all within like 48 hours.
And you spend time with her?
Yes, ma'am.
Readily and frequently?
Whenever she brings her by,
When I
yes.
get a chance to bring her by when I'm not going to the doctors myself.
Or she calls me and says, hey, come pick us up.
A tense moment arrives as Miss McClain's desires become clear. The revelation of whether Mr. Strong is Angel's father carries profound implications, potentially shaping her life's narrative. The audience eagerly anticipates the outcome, questioning if a hidden twist might emerge.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Strong, you are not the father. I'm sorry to have to deliver that news, Mr. and Miss Strong. It seemed like you were very happy at the thought of having Angel as your little girl.
At 14, Miss Jacobs' world turned upside down as her father vanished suddenly. Today in the courtroom, she confronts him for answers. Mr. Walker, once certain of their bond, heard a conversation on her birthday that shattered his beliefs.
On her 14th birthday, Your Honor, we were outside celebrating with 4th of July. I heard an argument inside the house. So I go in to see what's going on, and my ex-wife, her mother, and her sister was in there, and she was screaming at her mother like, well, you know there's a chance they're not his kids, and I don't know how to tell him, but I had done slipped in and was standing right behind her and overheard all of it.
At just 16, Miss Jacobs penned a heartfelt letter to her father, unaware that he was questioning her paternity. She later got pregnant to be emancipated. Mr. Walker, oblivious to his daughter's struggles, recounted how her mother's shocking revelation led him to throw her out, and Miss Jacobs ended up in foster care.
It was really hard. I actually ended up getting pregnant when I was 16 just to be emancipated.
Really?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you got pregnant on purpose?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's obvious that you were looking for the family you didn't have.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Walker, you had no idea your daughter was going through all of this?
No, Your Honor.
Miss Jacobs had witnessed his mother's infidelity firsthand. She recounted how a family member visited, took a shower with her mother, and then retired to the bedroom. Young and innocent, she approached his mother for food, only to be dismissed. She shared the incident with her father upon his return from work, but her mother caused chaos.
What did you see exactly?
My dad was at work, my mom was home, and a family member of mine came over to the house. They ended up taking a shower together. I went into the bathroom, I was like, Mom, what are you doing? She goes, I'm just getting a shower, go away.
Standing before the court, Mr. Walker expressed the possibility that some of the men discussed could be Miss Jacobs' father. His suspicions were fueled by his ex-wife's later admission of intimate involvement with multiple family members. In the midst of their divorce, he offered his ex-wife everything in exchange for custody of their children, emphasizing his unyielding love for them.
The only thing she wanted in the divorce was the property and the contents of the house. And I said, give me my kids, you can have everything, anything you want. I brought the divorce papers with me to back that up as evidence.
Jerome, will you please hand that to me?
I've done nothing but fight for these kids, Your Honor. I love my children. My children are my world.
In the midst of all these events, Miss Jacobs remained unaware of the truth. She revealed that her mother consistently portrayed her father as someone who abandoned her and wanted nothing to do with her. However, Mr. Walker staunchly opposed these claims, providing stacks of paperwork as evidence to support his side of the story.
Hearing his testimony, how does that make you feel?
When I actually just got back in contact with my father after 5 years just a month ago. So he did show me all the paperwork and everything like that. I felt horrible. I really did, because I told him I wanted nothing to do with him. I felt like I didn't deserve to be around my dad at that point in time.
Medical professionals believed he would never have grandchildren. Despite this, he embraced fatherhood with enthusiasm when he found out he was going to be a dad. With tears and a heartfelt embrace, the emotional moment unfolded in the courtroom as the truth was revealed.
When it comes to the paternity of Miss Aisha Jacobs, Mr. Walker, you are Aisha's father.
Hold on to your seats as chaos erupts in the courtroom. Miss Nesbitt is determined to prove Mr. Henderson is the father of her daughter, while he confidently insists she cheated with a neighbor. Emotions run high as shocking revelations take center stage, challenging the simple narrative.
I shouldn't have to take care of another man's baby.
But you are taking care of another man's baby, right?
Yes, but at this time, I came into this baby's life and already knew he wasn't mine, but I had a possibility that she could have been mine, but she's not, so I felt kind of hurt. So
there's a level of resentment there.
Yes, ma'am.
Tensions escalate in this courtroom drama as Miss Nesbitt and Mr. Henderson's rocky relationship takes center stage. Miss Nesbitt reveals an unexpected twist involving a neighbor, leaving Mr. Henderson grappling with the shocking revelation. The truth unravels as emotions surge and the tangled web of events becomes more complex.
Do you remember this day, Mr. Henderson, when she told you she was pregnant?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did she also say I had slept with Mr. Brown?
Yes, Your Honor.
When she told you she'd also slept with Mr. Brown, but it was just one night?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you say to yourself, well, I know now this could possibly be his child, or you tried to just, you were living in denial?
I was living in denial, Your Honor.
Both Mr. Henderson and Mr. Brown, the neighbor, step into the spotlight, vying for their claim as the father. What a chaos! Mr. Brown confidently asserts that the child's resemblance to him is undeniable. As the tension mounts, unexpected twists further complicate the situation.
This is a picture of
me on the right and her on the left. Yeah, it is. She look nothing like at all. Ear, look at her cheeks, nothing. Lips, nose.
She doesn't look anything like you, in your opinion.
Nothing like me. One day she had told me she didn't want to take the first. She used to always ask me like, "Do you mind taking a test?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then one day she called, texted me like, "You don't need to take no test because I know it's his baby."
No.
As tensions skyrocket, Mr. Brown takes center stage, determined to clear the air. He expresses his doubts about being the father and his desire to move past the chaos. A surprising twist reveals an ongoing Facebook feud between the potential fathers, highlighting the complex emotions and uncertainty in this explosive paternity battle.
Now you're having a Facebook feud?
No, it wasn't no Facebook feud. I just told him like, bro, come get your child. You feel me? This is not my child. She's telling me that this child is not mine. I'm not about to sit there. I'm a real man.
Well,
I'm not gonna have her calling me daddy or nothing. Like, hold on, I'm not your father.
I just don't want my
That's
daughter
your
to be
father.
fatherless, and I just want to find out today who my baby father is.
In a gripping moment of truth, the court unveils the DNA results, determining the biological father of Miss Nesbitt's daughter. The anticipation builds as Mr. Brown's hopes hang in the balance, and Mr. Henderson's fate remains uncertain. The courtroom atmosphere crackles with tension as the audience holds their breath for the final revelation.
Mr. Henderson, you are her father.
Told you was her father from the beginning.
Are you happy?
Yes, I mean, I love to be her father, but if she can't change, I'ma leave. I'ma still do for my daughter because I'm not that guy. This will be my only child.
You all now have a child together.
In a paternity court showdown, Miss Streeter reveals a hidden affair with Mr. Hartfield, who denies fathering her child. In the chaotic moment, the accusations of infidelity and marriage come to light. The fate of their relationships hangs on the edge of DNA results, promising shocking revelations.
Mr. Hartfield asked me to have a baby with him. We were dating for about 8 months, a long time. We were in a relationship, a committed relationship with just me and him. And throughout the whole relationship, he wanted to have a baby. He said he didn't get to raise any of his.
Mr. Hartfield says that he admits to sending explicit texts, revealing a controversial game he and Miss Streeter played. As laughter fills the room, their unconventional dynamics take center stage. But Judge Lake is determined to get to the bottom of their puzzling relationship, demanding answers that uncover deeper secrets.
This is a text that says no, and then I'm horny, and then come over, and the next line says I'm serious, I am horny as hell.
Let me explain to you why. Because of this game that she and I like to play, that she likes to play. If I don't do that, Dominique goes ballistic.
Miss Hartfield, the wife, joins the conversation. Her frustration and pain are palpable as she confronts her husband's infidelity head-on. As the truth comes out, emotions escalate, and even Judge Lake expresses disbelief at the situation. The focus shifts to the betrayed wife's heart-wrenching experience, adding another layer of chaos to the already tangled web.
You get a text message.
A random text message that says, I'm in a relationship with your husband and have been for 8 months, and I'm pregnant.
What do you do from there?
And I asked him about it, and he said, oh, she's just some little girl, she ain't nobody. I didn't like texting, so I called her. And I'm like, we had a conversation to which I told her, best of luck.
Tensions soar as Mr. Hartfield drops a bombshell, alleging Miss Streeter's involvement with another man. Amid accusations and denials, emotions erupt, and chaos reigns. Judge Lake battles to restore order. The courtroom is electrified, anticipation mounts, and viewers brace for the next shocking revelation.
I don't sleep around. Like, I just don't understand why he coming up with these lies.
Your Honor,
Kiss the
that is
baby.
absolutely crazy nuts what she's saying. If I,
You
look,
wouldn't
check this out.
accuse
Hold on,
her
no. You said because I don't want to be with you.
I have a picture
I'm
on
just
where
saying,
he
Your
spent
Honor,
time with
I
my
do have
baby.
options. Even my wife, I love her. God knows I do.
The court reaches a fever pitch as Mr. Hartfield's infidelity and deception are laid bare. Accusations and emotions fly, leaving the courtroom in turmoil. Judge Lake, resolute, navigates through the chaos to unravel the truth. Ms. Hartfield's heartbreak and Mr. Hartfield's defensive stance collide, culminating in a shocking confession that sends shockwaves through the room.
I knew they had a relationship, and it was, I don't want to be with her. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I want to be with you. Can we work it out?
And I can see this really upsets you.
It's foolishness, and I didn't need it, and I didn't ask for it.
I want a divorce if I can get one.
A climactic moment in the case of Streeter versus Hartfield unfolds as the court unveils the truth. Amidst the tension and charged emotions, the judge delivers a verdict that rattles the room. As the reality sinks in, Mr. Hartfield's nonchalant reaction contrasts with the gravity of the situation. The spotlight then shifts to the women, who stand united against the backdrop of Mr. Hartfield's deceitful behavior.
Mr. Hartfield, you are the father.
Okay.
Do you understand now what you just made a child with?
Right.
No, look at me. I don't know what he told you up until this point. I will say that con men like him, they can be very charismatic.